This weekend, the third Conjuring movie is being released, once again proving that ghost stories prove to be the safe go-to for mainstream horror. It makes sense. While the stories are morbid and sometimes terrifying, ghost stories usually don't rely on the blood and gore that permeates other subgenres of horror, so the films can be rated PG and catered to that crucial youth audience. I plan on reviewing the next Conjuring film soon, but until then, how about a ghost story filled with potent and pants-shittingly scary horror? Let's talk about the new horror movie premiering this week on Shudder called Caveat. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights, a part of the Kings of Horror Network. I'm ML Miller. While you might be watching this video on the Kings of Horror Network, I urge you to click over to my ML Miller Frights YouTube page and give it a like. Please share with all of your buddies. Click subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. Caveat is new, streaming on Shudder. It's directed and written by Damian Mc Carthy. Experiencing memory loss and without direction in his life, Isaac, played by Jonathan French, is offered a job by his landlord, Barrett, played by Ben Kaplan, to babysit his niece, Olga, played by Layla Sykes. Since her father committed suicide, Olga is not mentally stable, and she's returned to their home, which Barrett reveals to be in a secluded area. Concerned for her safety, Barrett wants Isaac to stay with Olga at her father's home until she wants to return. Barrett promises the job should take a week tops. After Isaac agrees, he discovered Barrett has left out some important details to this job that might have influenced Isaac's decision had he known them. First, the home is on an island, and there's no boat to return once Barrett leaves. The second is that Olga is quite insane, overcome with grief, paranoia, and catatonia. The third is that Isaac must be locked into a straitjacket-type garment with a chain attached so he can only move to specific rooms of the house, because of Olga's paranoia. And fourth is that the house just might be haunted. Before Isaac can refuse the deal, Barrett leaves him trapped on an island, chained and at the mercy of Olga and maybe some vengeful ghosts. With nary a jump scare or a piano bang, the go-to tools of horror that built the House of Blum, Caveat is hands down one of the scariest movies of the year. Utilizing some very subtle but bizarre imagery, a horrifying situation, and some titanically powerful atmosphere, Caveat will freeze the marrow in your bones. This is a dark film, very dark, but the film utilizes the darkness in genius ways, hinting that there are horrible things hiding within it. Every room feels ancient and stained by time. The odd rooms Isaac is allowed to wander into are drenched in shadows and atmosphere, but what we do see exhibit a mood that is thick and creepy. Considering that almost the entire film takes place within these dank and aged walls, this makes for an extremely uncomfortable and undeniably moody setting, the perfect setting for a horror movie. On top of that, you have one terrifying image after another in Caveat. Let's start with that toy drummer bunny that is highlighted in the poster and in the trailer. With bulging eyes, filthy fur, and an odd tendency to answer questions and indicate when ghosts are around through its drumming, that fucking bunny is the scariest toy from a horror movie since the clown from Poltergeist. It's so simple. It just stares at you and does a little drum beat, but the way that creepy-ass thing looks and how it is used makes it iconic and will be the thing you will talk about when you recommend this film to others. But that's just one of the many bits of imagery that will tingle your spine. There's a creepy-ass painting, a wary dog on a leash, which is reminiscent of Isaac's own leash circumstances, and a descent through the walls of the house that all provide solid shocks peppered throughout Caveat. It's amazing how many and how powerful these scares really are. Jonathan French does a fantastic job as Isaac. He says and does things the viewer would do. And while this is an insane predicament he has found himself in, he makes it believable to be in it, and also provides extremely human reactions to the startling things he encounters. Even right up to the shocking and terrifying ending, French gives a sympathetic yet identifiable performance. Layla Sykes is great too as Olga, who is here equal parts protagonist and antagonist. You can't help but sympathize with her, but she's also capable of horrible things, which makes her a very complex character. That rabbit, though, and that painting, and that revelation as to what's in the hole, and the ending, all of it is simply blood-curdling. There are some lulls in the flow of the film. The scares are abundant, but the film does spend a lot of time allowing the atmosphere to unease the viewer. This isn't a bad thing, but more impatient viewers might grow wary of the pace from time to time. But to the patient, there are awards aplenty. This is the first full-length feature of Damian Mc Carthy, and with the way he manages to terrify here, I hope this guy stays in the horror genre. This is a film made by people who really know how to scare you. And if you are disappointed with what Hollywood calls horror these days, check out Caveat for the real deal. That'll be it for today. Please chime in down below in the comments and let me know how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. So guys, you know how YouTube works. I'd love to be able to dedicate more time to this channel. I'm not monetized yet, so if you want to help me out, remember to hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below. Want some spooky comics to read? I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look out for. Both Gravetrancers and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, can be found in only the finest of comic book shops. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on my website, mlmillerwrites.com. If you really want to show your support, I also have a Patreon page at mlmiller. Look for the link to my Patreon page down below. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're